Wednesday, the 15th of July. And does this look like rain-soaked lumber to you? No, me either. Any of the rain that was predicted to fall did not fall. The storm that we were expected to have with high winds and lightning and possible tornadoes did not happen. It turns out this haze, this amber light at 7 in the morning that we're seeing right now, and the thick air that's hard to breathe is smoke from the Canadian wildfires. And it was enough to shift the pattern of weather that was headed our way, that was supposed to dump rain on us last night into today. It was enough to shift it, and we got none of it. And the long-term forecast is between now and the middle of August, we're not going to see a drop of rain here. So yet again, we are fighting a summer drought. And I guess that's just what we have to learn to expect. Too wet in the spring to get an early harvest. I mean, this could have been second cut. Well, it was for the cows, but I could have been getting a second cut of silage. I'm going to need a second cut of silage. I don't know if one's going to grow, though. Yeah, too wet in the spring to graze early enough to get in an extra grazing and an extra cut, and too dry in the summer to grow grass. Now I'm going to go grass measuring today. We've got a pasture walk on Saturday open to the public, and then the following Saturday we have open farm day, where again we'll be doing pasture walk and teaching people about what we do here on this farm for open farm day. And drought is going to be a large part of this discussion. Now, this area that I mowed and baled is just grazable now. That was quite a few weeks ago. And so quite a few weeks ago was a month ago, and it's growing really slowly. Now, granted, I did have the heifers on it for a week after I mowed it. So I'm going to jump the island today and give the cows all of this for today and tomorrow and see how they graze off this regrowth. Now, again, that was an area that I have spread manure on. We'll see what the milk yields are today, but the cows did a pretty good job grazing this area off. Now, this will need topped, but I'm not going to do that until after the pasture walk so I can show the difference. And what happens. And I also may just leave this just for the rest of the summer to see what happens. See if it's any kind of a strategy for the drought that we're going to be in. Now, I've got a little bit of grazing in the forest ahead for when they finish this field, but I'm going to have to slow the rotation way down and start feeding silage. So I've got a little bit that I saved out from yesterday's baling, and I'm going to have to get those bales over from Thomaston because I'm going to need that, and I'm going to have to go to Thomaston and actually start harvesting over there. I got a few more fields in the local area here that I might be able to do, but I'm actually thinking by the time I get around to them, it'll be hay or very poor first cut haylage, which may go to my neighbor's goats. Oh, wow. The smoke is kind of thick. You can smell it, you can taste it. Yikes, that's a big freaking fire. All right, I gotta get this line moved around the island, get on with milking, get on with my day. I'm now up closer to those 2 dead trees, and dang it if those aren't 2 really big yellow birches, which makes some nice lumber, clear up 8-10 feet. But then more importantly, those 2 birches are holding back the bank from falling down. There, massive stones banked up against the oh wow, smoke. Massive stones banked up around the roots of those trees. So I don't know what killed them. drought something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll make it work somehow. Well, unfortunately, this raspberry bush in the middle of the stone island in the field is covered with unripe raspberries. A few ripe ones. But the cows will have this decimated by the time I get back to it tonight. So I'm going to take a handful of the ripe ones, and this will be gone by tonight. They'll smell those raspberries and go right for it. Not that I really like them climbing the stone island, because it is kind of treacherous and there's some old wagon parts in it from prehistory. And these rose bushes, which I have yet to whack back down this year. But it's too hard to fence it out. It's just such a pain. Maybe someday I'll permanently fence it out so we can plant something on it. I've often thought that it'd be the perfect heat sink for an early crop of tomatoes or something, because it would the stones warm, make it warmer. But who knows? For now, the cows can graze it. They have managed to do it for years. Wow. Orange sky. The sun's out there somewhere. Yeah, right there. Obscured by the smoke. Well, I started stacking yesterday's bales, and as I was coming out of the bale bank, skipped a track on the skid steer in the worst possible configuration because it went to the inside. And going to the inside, I don't have any way of easily pushing out. If I had it to the outside, I could suck back across the skid steer and pull it back on that way. I backed off on the grease. It uses grease and a spring to put tension on this idler pulley. I backed off and gained about an inch. I think it needs to go more, but the problem is I'm also coming off the back. You've seen me do this before on the channel. I've used these bars to try and ride the tracks over the idler, giving me a way of getting these teeth back on this side of the idler, but it's not easy. So I've already been at this for 20 minutes. It'll probably be at least another 20-30 minutes before I can get this thing. Sometimes it just pops right on in 5 minutes. Other times you end up spending hours fighting it.
So the audio got corrupted for this clip, but basically I was explaining how after some customers interrupted me, I managed to pull the tractor over and use a ratchet strap to pull the track back into place and get it where it needed to be. And now it's back on, and I need to get ready to tighten the track using the grease gun.
Had to do the same trick to the back, pull it that way, because cleats weren't inside the groove of the rear idler. Now I can back off on the pressure of everything, set it down, and then get the track tightened back up. Just here grass measuring at Labreeze. Farnsworth was looking a lot further along than Labreeze is, but then I cut Labreeze probably a week and a half later. So that much makes a difference. But they have responded, both have responded well to the manure I spread. So there is definitely more growth than I was expecting to see, and more growth than this amount of time after first cut last year. Last year we were in a severe drought deficit. We've had some rain since I cut, So it's looking promising for a second cut anyway. That massive storm that blew through here earlier, and it did actually, you couldn't tell now, but it dumped rain hard for about 15 minutes. And within a half hour, you couldn't tell it had even rained. But tree service just called us and they're looking for a place to dump wood chip because there are so many trees blown down all over the place now. They're busy chipping already, getting limbs cleared out of people's driveways and stuff. So good chance we could end up with quite a bit of good wood chip. I just wish I had the roof on the chip on the barn, but this won't fill it. I put shavings in the from the tool factory. I put shavings in the tool factory down in the barn already today. When I cleaned out the barn, I would have put this chip in. Anyway, we'll stockpile this chip, and that'll give us a little bit of a head start going into winter, because it's always just great to have it there, and I do need to get that roof built so that the pile doesn't get wet over the summer. We originally moved here when we obtained a lease with the help of Dirt Capital Partners, an agricultural investment firm that helps farmers buy the farm that they're going to grow into. It was one of the only ways we could afford to find land and move the cheese operation and the farming operation and combine them. This has always been a farm. The middle bit there. Oh. It's 7 o'clock on Saturday, the 18th of July. In the evening, I'm collecting the cows from night milking. Sky is gray. Part of this is Canadian wildfire smoke. It is a very bad air quality day, which is why I'm not chasing the cows in right now, or I'm just letting them amble in because I don't want them to have to breathe this crap. But also, we got a touch of rain today, and we might get some more tonight. Come on. So, yeah, about a quarter inch has fallen over the course of this afternoon. We had our pasture walk today, so I took a group, there were 7 or 8 people? 10 had signed up, but not everybody showed up. Jaime Garzon, professor at the university, works with our local county extension agent, and they try and do one grass walk, one pasture walk at a different farm in every county over the course of the summer. And so, come on, Luna, let's go. Let's go, ladies. Let's get in. Come on. It's going to start raining. And so he came to the farm. Know Jaime well. We worked with him over the years. He's been here for 3 years, I think. And so we got some video we'll show you here about what I talked about, basically showing normies about farming systems and people who are curious about grazing and pasture management, land use, silvopasture, all that stuff. So we had them out here today. It was an absolutely wonderful day. It was almost too cool. It wasn't hot at all. And then by the time we were done at about 2:30, it started raining. And so grateful for it. And I really hope it continues because things are beginning to get dire. I'm going to be putting the cows and the heifers on bales as of tomorrow so that we can extend what little grass is left growing on the farm. That's good. It's ready to graze ahead of them, and that'll give this main pasture a chance to regrow, and hopefully by then I'll get a second cut of silage, and we'll see how it all carries out for the rest of the summer. I'm down here below the barns setting up grazing cell for the cows for today. Sunday, 19th of July. Grass growth has slowed way down. We did get almost a quarter-inch of rain yesterday, and there is some more rain predicted for later in the week if it comes true. The quarter-inch fortunately fell at night, got a chance to soak into the ground before the wind kicked up. And so that was the first significant moisture we've had. I'm going to put another post here. First significant moisture we've had in a month, I think. I can't remember. I think it was the very end, not quite the end of June. So about a month, I would say. And we've had very hot temperatures and things were really starting to dry out. And everything was seeming to stall. The grass growth on my last grass measure was not overly hectic, as they say. So I was grateful for that little bit of rain. I am already going to have to start feeding silage. I mean, I've been feeding them a little bit of the grass that I clean out of the baler. And I've been feeding a little bit of hay. But I think we're going to have to dip into some silage bales until the grass catches up, because I made the choice to reset the big pasture by topping it, and that seems, and now thankfully with that rain, that strategy seems to be working out. So fingers crossed. It's regrowing well, but it's regrowing at the moment at a rate. Now the other thing is it's cooled way down. We're not going to top 80 degrees for a few days, and it was cool yesterday, it was cool the day before. So with that moisture last night, the grass is going to grow. I'm confident of that. I wish I could have gotten a little urea out on the pasture just to give it that extra boost, just to get that stuff up out of the ground, take advantage of all that moisture. But there was just no way. It only really started milking. We got a late start milking, and it only really started raining while we were milking, and I wasn't about to head down to the forest and get the spreader and try and throw fert in. And by the time I would have done that, it had stopped raining already. So, and trying to drive around in the dark without a plan wouldn't have been my best moment. Just making sure the fences are good down here in the paddock. So, didn't get so hopefully the manure up there. What the hell is that? Something shat and has real digestive issues. Yeah. I want to say that's porcupine or some kind of crap, something that was eating berries. All right, this post has got to be put back. I really, really, really need to get down here and start working on permanent fences. I was hoping to be able to do that in between first and second cut, but it looks like that's going to bleed. They're going to bleed into each other once again. So, all right, it looks like this is good to go for cows for now. There's also a little bit to be said about not spreading the urea, because when growth slows down, the response to the nitrogen isn't as good as when it's actually growing well. So while it would give a kickstart, it could also meant I wasted it. So I didn't force myself to do it, which is probably a good thing. We're just going to see what happens. Hope that the manure I spread and the topping I did and the cow's own manure drops all work to our advantage. So today, Allison's on her way to Boston tomorrow for a talk on American cheese. Not the slices, but artisanal American cheese and the Maine cheese scene. So that's going to take her away for 2 days. So I'm on my own on the farm. So I'm just going to keep it simple and straightforward and just basically focus on looking after the animals. And I'm sure Monday's always a busy day at the store. So we'll have we'll have cheese customers and meat customers. So I'll have to deal with that tomorrow. But basically, I'm not going to try and do anything extra. There's no point in going off farm this week with that big rainfall. I mean, it is a major storm predicted for the middle of the week. So until it changes, now maybe by Tuesday I would know. Allison will be back Tuesday afternoon. So maybe I could cut some silage if I had a field by then, but I'm not going to go to Thomaston this week. Next week is open farm day, so I should also be doing some work and some prep for the things we want to do on open farm Sunday. We have our July farm dinner tonight, so yeah, we're in a really busy period right now. So if I'm not having to cut and do the whole silage thing for a few days or make hay or for anybody, yeah, that's right, shoot, I should go look at a hay field today for a friend of ours. Needs a field cleared off for her horses. So I guess I could do that later this week, at the end of the week, depending on how much rain we get Wednesday or whenever it is going to be. So yeah, it's going to be a busy, hectic week this week. Just going to try and ease into it while Allison's away, and that's the other thing. I keep it simple when she's gone, because I won't have a vehicle other than the tractor. I don't want to get injured doing something foolish. And not have, backup. So yeah, I'm gonna just do the bare minimum and take a little bit of it's not gonna be time off, that's for sure. But take it a little easier the next couple days while she's gone. Heifers know something's up. Cows know something's up. As soon as they see me with a reel, they figure food is on the way. So I'm gonna let the cows down the hill. I gotta get a wrench so I can get the heifers some water. I really crinked down on the hose connection so they wouldn't leak last time I tightened them, and they need to have water because I no longer will have access to the lane if the cows are going back and forth. So we'll open this up for the cows. They can go graze for the day, and then I'll go grab the heifers a bale and get some tools so I can get them water. We've thrown an SmaXtec patch on Bramble, little thing on her tail back there. Because they're going down the hill, the SmaXtec system won't read them as often. And she's supposed to, by the numbers and also the SmaXtec signs, she should be coming into heat soon. And so we don't want to miss that heat, because this is the period to breed her after she's had enough days since calving. So we want to make sure she gets bred. So we put up old school technology in case I happen to catch if a cow mounts her. If they're bulling, then it'll rub and it'll be pink. And I'll know ahead of time before the SmaXtec system picks up the bolus information and pings me, because we need to get her bred. And right now the AI service is kind of hit or miss. You got to call as early as possible, and we might not get service. There's only one AI technician for this entire end of the state, so that's a little bit of a hassle.
You agree that it would be better to do something else today?
bale wrap.
Of pushing her to change, of pushing her to accept certain facts.
All right. I don't know where all this bale wrap came from. Blowing around everywhere. I'm gonna come back down when I don't have the skid steer. Clean it up. I'm gonna get them their water. They should be content with that bale, and the next time I'm gonna bring the bale further and put it in that section of the forest that needs rejuvenation. And that'll get them locked away over there in the shade. But for now, they just came out of the forest, so get them access to water now. Yeah, good. They're content eating that bale, which is great. Alright, I'm hoping I can just use the cradle of the bale arms to lift this without it causing issues. I think I've got it. As long as they, oh shoot, they're gonna spread. There's nothing. There we go. I can just get inside of it. Alright, so next job, set up the next cow's grazing cell. Then it doesn't matter when I get back up to the top of the hill whether they come through the gate. In fact, I might just park at the bottom of the hill, open the gate, let the cows through, and then drive through. Then I can get the manure spreader hooked up, start loading manure, start spreading manure. Allison's supposed to be back this afternoon. Yesterday was her birthday, which we didn't get to celebrate. So I want to be sure I'm done with work long before and get cleaned up so we can have some kind of birthday celebration when she does show up. Before she has to immediately get back in the swing of things and help out with milking tonight. Normally I would, first cut, I get about a week through this long narrow field on this side. Second cut I get about 5 days. Second cut I get about 2 to 3 days, and then each subsequent grazing is like 2 to 3 days each, until maybe the final one, if I've, it depends on how long I let it rest. This time around, I'm gonna try and get 5 days out of it. We're on our second cell, our second day, and I'm achieving that by getting them most of their dry matter up in the barn with some silage bales and an extra ration of grain in the parlor. Just give them a little bit extra, just balance everything out, make sure they're not setting backwards, because theoretically they're all in calf or coming into calf or about to give birth. So we want to make sure they're in optimum condition for all of those circumstances. And the ones, the milking, the 8 milkers right now that we're utilizing for the cheese are still producing plenty of milk. We don't want that volume to drop. So yeah, it's this, and we also want to make sure that they're getting enough dry matter, so that, and especially fibrous dry matter, so that their milk volume and butter fat don't drop. Seeing that we are starting to make butter again. So we want to make sure all these things are balanced. It's not an easy dance. It is a dance, but we're just gonna keep at it. Every year is different. Every graze is different. So yeah, just trying to live out this dry spell and manage, hopefully, for improved growth later on in the year. All right, I'm at the top of the hill, which I hate being, because the skid steer could slide backwards. I'm gonna open up this gate. The cows can come through or not, and I'll get out of here. Heifers are all excited because they heard the skid steer, and that's what I usually drive to bring them feed. I am about to start, as soon as I can cobble together a repair. Sorry, no, get freaked out. Two cows out here in the yard decided they did not like the skid steer going by. I'm about to start the heifers on a little bit of grain. As soon as I can get a trough rigged up for them. I don't want them to backslide either. Theoretically, 2 of them are in calf. We have to verify that. And the ones that we're growing for beef need to just keep on their weight gain. We don't want them backsliding, because that's actually what causes tough meat, is a seesawing back and forth. So we just want to make sure that, given the dry conditions, I threw them a whole bale the other day. I thought they'd be more than halfway through it. They're kind of picking at it, and they're choosing to nibble off. I mean, they're hammering the ground down there hard. And I really should exclude them from that pasture, but it's just, yeah, it's just one reel too many at this point. I don't know whether, I think I've used all my grazing reels up already again, despite buying 2 new ones this year. So, all right, cows need to go away. I need to get through this gate. Come on, ladies, go graze. I opened up a new paddock.